Here's my audience.
Hi, I'm Autumn, and my speech is on ocean pollution. Rubicon Global says that 25 trillion pieces of trash are currently floating in our oceans. Ocean pollution isn't something that seems like it would be a problem here in Illinois, thousands of miles away from any ocean. Although oceans do many things for us here in Illinois. A few of those include feeding us, which is why that fish is there, and cleaning the air, which is why I have a picture of a sky. Today we will be talking about what ocean pollution is and why it is a big issue, what needs to change, and what will happen if things do change. The NRDC states that ocean pollution is happening in more than one way. The first way being that of ocean acidification. Most people think that only happens because of burning of fossil fuels and it pollutes the air, but it also affects water as well. These toxic chemicals are entering our ocean and causing damage to many different ecosystems in the ocean. The NRDC also states that by the end of the century, if we continue to pollute our oceans with these chemicals, our oceans will be 150% more acidic. The second, probably the most heard of, is by putting plastic into our oceans. The most prominent type of trash that is put into our oceans is plastic. Plastic is an extremely harmful material for our oceans. This is because it doesn't biodegrade quickly. It takes hundreds of years for plastic to degrade. The NRDC states that we dump 80 million metric tons of plastic into our ocean every year, which doesn't degrade. The main reason that we should care so much about this problem is because the ocean does so many things for us. The National Ocean Service states that the ocean covers 70% of the earth and it plays a major role in regulating our climate, which is that picture. Shows the different climates around the globe. Meaning, without oceans, everything would be too cold or way too hot. The NOS also states that the ocean provides over 50% of our oxygen, which is what I used for that picture, shows the sky. The ocean also absorbs 50% of our carbon dioxide. Finally, 70% of trade is done by water in the ocean. While we are polluting our waters, we are actually making it harder for us to do trade and live our own lives. In saying this, there are many reasons that we should care about ocean pollution. The main problem is not enough people care. Too many people think that this isn't a big issue. Again, the NRDC states that the ocean will become 150% more acidic, and we dump 80 million metric tons of plastic into our ocean every year. Meaning that there is not a single square mile of the ocean that a piece of trash does not occupy. Because of this terrible issue, marine life are being affected. Rubicon Global states that 100,000 marine life die every year from ingestion of plastic. This problem is increasing simply because we keep dumping plastic. Obviously, the main ones that are affected by this are the marine life. Sea turtles mistake plastic bags for jellyfish. This is the case because jellyfish are their main food source. Plastic bottle rings that you put around pop get stuck around fish, turtles, and birds. This can cause them to choke to death, get stuck, or they grow into weird forms. Plastic straws and small other pieces of plastic get stuck in animals' noses. And another thing that is affected is the ecosystems that they live in. Their homes are being taken over by plastic, and then they can no longer live there. This is also affecting humans as well. We put the plastic into the ocean, then we eat those fish, then we're ingesting that plastic. So that can't be good for us. And the final way that plastic is affecting our lives is through beaches. Lots of plastic is thrown onto beaches and it's causing them to be unsanitary. What needs to change? The first and most obvious thing that needs to change is for there to be less plastic in the ocean. By decreasing the amount of plastic in our oceans, marine life would be saved and human lives would be healthier. The first and best way to remove plastic from the ocean is to prevent it in the first place. This can be done simply by recycling. The easiest way to do this is from removing water from our oceans. This can be done by throwing your plastic, glass, aluminum, anything that can be recycled into separate bins and taking it to a local recycling place. Recycling eliminates the plastic from traveling into our oceans and killing our marine life or onto our beaches. Another thing that can be done is for people to start using reusable water bottles instead of the plastic ones. So you fill up a water bottle instead of getting a new one every day. Another thing that can be done is using reusable grocery bags instead of a plastic one. So it's a cloth bag instead of a plastic one. And a final one is using metal straws instead of plastic ones. And a couple places that are implementing new strategies for this: Starbucks, they now have the sippy cup lids, and some big cities are taxing plastic bags so that people try and buy them less and they bring their own bags. Research says that recycling programs aren't growing anymore, so that people need to start doing stuff that they can at home. And a few ways that we were talking about was a plastic bottle ring needs to be cut like this so that turtles don't get stuck in it. A straw needs to be sliced down the middle so that it doesn't get stuck in a turtle's nose. And a plastic bag just needs to not be used. Don't use it. The second thing that needs to be changed is to lower the amount of carbon emission that is put out. This can be done by using a more fuel efficient car like that thing. You can also lower the amount of electronics and get a more fuel efficient washer and dryer, refrigerator, stove, those things that you use in your house all the time. So now we're going to talk about how things will be different if those different methods will be implemented. The first and biggest success would be that animals will be able to live. Like this picture, the oceans are going to be much cleaner. Animals are going to be able to live. On top of that, the animals won't have plastic in their system, so we'll be able to have healthier lives. And then the second thing is our beaches will be cleaner. And then with carbon emission, that all goes along with it because carbon emission affects both of those. And then if nothing is done, like I said earlier, the ocean's going to be 150% more acidic, which eventually is going to kill all of our fish. So we won't have any fish to eat or see in the ocean. Ocean pollution is a problem and something needs to be done about it. This can be done by recycling, using reusable resources, or participating in beach cleanups. I encourage all of you to start recycling. It really isn't that hard to start recycling. There's even bins on campus. You can put your plastic water bottles in or bring your cans from home. If recycling isn't your thing, you can start cutting your plastic bottle rings at home. That's just a small step that you can do at home. Thank you. I hope you take into consideration recycling.